Happy New Year to the vinyl community. Cheers, everybody. To the people on YouTube who are just scrolling. Made it through another year. So, good reason to be thankful. Another reason to be thankful. You know, even if it was a rough year, you made it through it. And hopefully, next year's better. What I got playing right now, because I have one of my subscribers who's really cool. I'm forgetting his name right now. He's always asking, "What's in the background tonight?" I haven't replied to your comment, but what I'm playing right now is this, the J Jazz Deep Modern Jazz from Japan, Volume 3. This is what I'm playing right now. Now, the one you asked about, I can't tell you the exact song, but I was playing. It's one of these, but it's the Deep Modern Jazz. It's the J Jazz Deep Modern Jazz from '69 to '84, and it's a black album, just like the same thing layout. Both of these I highly recommend getting. They're 3 albums. They're kind of they're not expensive, but they're not cheap because they come with 3 albums. I'm all getting pumped up right now. Let me turn this down a little bit. And the one I'm playing right now is Side E, the first song on Side E. So, Tetsuya Nakamura. The song's called Quarter Samba 2. And I can't talk about him enough, like I already did. So go check him out. I highly recommend getting them. Alright, so I kind of did it. I did a final purge of the year. I just went and got 2 albums. I wanted one that was kind of lingering in the back of my head, and I got another copy of Rush 2112. That one I've had for a while. I have 2 copies. I have an original copy. I got a reissue just to hear how it sounded a while back. I got it last year, and for some reason I did not realize that on Something for Nothing there's a pop, and it's in the vinyl. It's not something you can clean off. They checked at the record store. It was there. Luckily, it's a pop. It doesn't keep skipping. It gets through it, but just drove me crazy because I love that album so much. So I got another copy, and this one's a little bit wobbly, just a tiny bit. Couple, just a little bit of surface on the first, but plays great all the way through on both. So I'm super stoked. Maybe I need to get one of those flatteners that Bob Bradley got. I think it looks really nice to have. So far, his demonstration seems like it looks like it works. So I definitely want to get one in the future. So I was like, let's do a little purge. Last day the record store was open on New Year's Eve until a certain time. So I was like, all right, got the 2112, and then they've had this here for a few weeks now, if not more than that. And it's the Momentary Lapse of Reason, Pink Floyd, the 45 RPM edition. Very nice quality. So this one is going for 40 to 44 at record stores. For some reason they had a few of them. This one was 40 and the other ones were 44, so I grabbed the $40 one. And got it home yesterday, and I listened to it last night, and did a shootout with the original pressing I have. Okay, I went back and forth for a while with these two, and do I recommend getting this? Let's get to that. So the reissue. So I guess this is the digital recorded album originally in the mid '80s when they recorded it. It came out in '87, and but they recorded the drums and the guitar with analog, and then combined that with everything else was digital. So with the remastering, I guess they brought the drummer back in there and redid some of the drums. That's what I read on the inside. If I'm reading that, if I'm interpreting that wrong, I'm sorry, but that's what I gathered from this. And so Gilmour, seems like with the band, went back in there and cleaned this up the way they... And they probably didn't have the time, who knows what the reason, but they remastered this one. It's a lot smoother. The guitar isn't as punchy as the other one, and that's a preference, what you like. The vocals are mixed a little bit lower on this one, a little smoother. Like on the very beginning though of learning to fly, however they EQ'd the voice, I do not like the very first sentence, or he basically the first few words he comes in, and I noticed right away. It's like, wow, that sounds. But it's a little bit of a lower mix, so I went. So, but the surface noise is a 45 RPM, so the surface noise super low, no cracks or pops. It's a new album. You can crank it up. It has more of a. It's kind of more of a CD master mix vibe to it. And again, sounds. I always say sounds of preference. Now, the original one, more powerful. You got more surface noise because it's on the older vinyl. A couple pops and clicks because you can tell they made so many. It's like not bubbles and all, but we can see a couple little just defects in the way they pressed it. Tiny stuff though. Just it plays all the way through great. The original one, the vocals are way more up front. A lot more just highs on the more mid-range and highs on the vocals. You can hear the reverb a lot more on the vocals, and I don't know if they wanted, maybe they wanted less of that reverb. I like how the reverb sounds on the original one. The guitar is a lot more thicker on the original one, and for me as a guitar person, some of these 45 RPMs, like even the one step of C. Ray Vaughan, the guitar gets a little smaller. Now, overall, it's very smooth and just really still amazing, but they haven't yet to get the tone when I feel like where that fatness. Again, it's a preference. I enjoy them both. So, would I recommend getting this one? Yes. If you're a Pink Floyd nerd, or Pink Floyd, just even a Pink Floyd fan in general, and you don't have any version of this, I would recommend still getting it. But the original one sounds great also. So if you only have access to the original one where you've already got it, as far as for something that sounds way better, you're not missing out too much. You got the original mix they did really well on. But there's not too many. Well, there maybe is. I have the Nebworth one. That's a 45 RPM. It sounds great, really good. That's a live one. I recommend that one. Highly recommend that one. But I haven't seen too many other Pink Floyds on 45 RPM as far as actual studio albums. So that was kind of what motivated me to get this one. And I love this album in general. It feels like the album's more the opening track with all the keyboards and stuff. That is better, I think, than the one on the original one. So Learning to Fly, the original's a lot better, I feel like. Dogs of War, it's a battle. This one they did a really good job. There are certain parts where where he's holding the chords out, where the guitar, actually the rhythm guitar sounds thicker than the original. So I kind of contradicted myself there a little bit, but as far as I feel like the leads is where they mainly miss getting the thickness of the tone. But as far as the chords, the rhythm, really good. The drums on this one have more of an electronic drums type of mix tone, because maybe they are electronic drums. It could be, most likely they're not, but there's a possibility. But either way, it's not too pricey. It's a beautiful layout. The quality, they're both 180 gram, like really good. Even though I think I just ripped the corner, really good layout. And it's a gatefold. It's like not the super shiny paper, but it's like that rough kind of gloss, kind of almost like the one steps kind of. So I got like soaks in your fingerprints. But either way, I like it. I'm stoked I got it. So like I said, like if you already have it, you're good to go as far as sound. If you're kind of a nerd, a Pink Floyd nerd. And my stepdad was a huge Pink Floyd fan. I don't want to say I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, but I'm going to say I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan. So, I wanted to get it. I'm stoked I got it. I think I want to get the reissue of, they did just 180 gram reissue of it like in 2016 or something. And that one's only like $25. This one's, $13 more. Now, I will say, support your local record store if they have this. But they do have it on Target's website for $34. So that's not too bad. A 45 RPM double LP, and that's total, David Gilmour era. I feel like that's like, obviously Roger Waters was definitely out of the picture by this point, but it was like this song was on MTV. David Gilmour was, keeping the Pink Floyd machine together, so to speak. And I feel like this was the album that said, hey, we're still here to stay, and even though Roger Waters isn't with us, we're still a good band. Kind of a different band, but Dogs of War has the Roger Waters vibe to it. So there's still parts where I feel like they didn't completely abandon what Roger Waters would have wanted to do on certain songs. So who knows? So that being said, I was in there the other day. Somebody brought a whole collection, or not a whole collection, a couple crates. It seemed like they probably got rid of the rest of their collection or something, or part of it. And they had a Pink Floyd Animals. Anytime I see that album, I try to go get it. I went in there, the album cover was good, but it was too scratched, I didn't pick it up. But what I did find in there was another copy of this. This is an original pressing, the only one for $12. It's in really good condition, so I souped her up. I now have, here's my original one, still in the original shrink wrap. Which I thought, sometimes I pulled the old shrink wrap off, and now I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I don't know. Either way, it's cool either way. But this is one of my favorite. I love all Rush albums, but this is definitely one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites. I kind of my first love was like Feral to Kings, Presto, Hold Your Fire, Moving Pictures, and then I got into my teens and I went, kind of rediscovering Rush again, just on my own without my stepdad around. And this album, I was like, gosh damn, why didn't you tell me? He was like, oh, I did tell you. We listened to it quite a bit. It's just you hadn't connected it with it yet. Your ears weren't ready. And but this is a great album. The fucking album cover. I just love that album cover too. Rush always had all the bands. So many bands had great album covers back in the day, and people still do to this day. Artists, but it's super cool. So yeah, I went off enough about that, and then I think that was it. So I just want to wish the vinyl community a happy New Year again. You guys are awesome. I enjoy watching all the channels, even if I'm not chiming in. I'm definitely watching. I try to always hit the like button to help the video get pumped up get your algorithm pumped up, or get forced into the feed, and all that good stuff. And thank you for people who have commented and been supportive and all that stuff. You guys are awesome. So, 2022 is here. It was funny because I did a little FaceTime with my bass player, and because I'm over here in Central Texas, I was 2 hours ahead of him because he's on the West Coast. So I was like, dude, I'm in the future. You know what I mean? It's crazy in 2022, and his girlfriend's yelling from the background, tell us what it's like. Is it safe? I'm cracking up. So anyways, stay positive, play lots of vinyl. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.